Yeah, it was yesterday, was it today? It was the Panihati festival. Yes? Today, it's just today, yes. So it's a very famous festival. I'm sure so you know something about it. It's a festival where Raghunath Das Goswami, Jai Gurudev, Jai Devotees Ki Jai. I was asked to speak something about it. I know something about it, but I'm also going to read about it. So it's where Raghunath Das Goswami meets Lord Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Lord Nityananda for the first time, coming from family life, which had difficulty leaving. Some of you may know something about the Leela. I'll speak a little about that as well. But it's to understand the position of Raghunath Das Goswami in our parampara. Srila Maharaj considered him the Prayojana Acharya, the highest possible Acharya, understanding of his position. And by that he meant he was the Acharya of Radha Dasyam. That's what he understood, which is extremely high. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur spoke about Sambandhana, Abhideya, Prayojana. The goal is about spiritual life, and which is Prayojana, the Abhideya, the means, the process, means for achieving that goal, and Sambandhana, trying to establish our beginning connection with the Lord. So we have to understand Raghunath Das Goswami was very high. He was the highest servitor of Srimati Radharani. So we know that Mahaprabhu came in the combined form of Radha and Krishna to taste the mellow service of Srimati Radharani. You can understand, what is it why is she so devoted to me? What is this ecstatic emotion that she feels towards me, to serve me? And Krishna is bewildered. So he wants to experience that mellow. And so, from Srila Maharaj, his loving search for the lost servant, we can understand something of the mood of Raghunath Das Goswami. And so we don't want to go too much detail into, any detail actually about that Rasa Leela, but to understand them in an indirect way, we can understand something. And so Raghunath Das Goswami states something in his books. And he says as follows: there is hope which is sustaining me and nurturing my existence. Without hope I am somehow passing my days, but my patience has reached its end. And at this stage of his life he's very old, and he's saying this, but he actually is the servitor of Radharani, but he's being in extreme humility. I can't endure it any longer. At this moment, if you do not show your grace to me, Sri Radha, I shall lose my prospect forever. I shall have no desire to continue my life. And Vrindavan, which is even dearer to me than my life itself, I am disgusted with it. And what to speak of anything else? I am even disgusted with Krishna. It is shameful to utter such words, but I can have no love even for Krishna until you take me within your confidential camp of service. That is the potency of Raghunath Das Goswami. And that is an astounding thing, really, because actually we can't get any service to Krishna unless we surrender to Guru and Srimati Radharani. And we can only get Srimati Radharani through Sri Guru, through Rupa Manjari, through Lalita, and so on, like this. So it's a very high thing. Raghunath Das Goswami is giving this opportunity to understand something about the loving relationship that the Lord will want to bestow upon us if we'll only but surrender and serve. So I'm going to read something from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Panihati festival is also known as the Chida Dahi Utsava. It is known as the chipped rice or flat rice festival. Okay? So, without more ado, I will read something from chapter 6, Chaitanya Charitamrita, from text 35, where I'll begin. I'm not going to read the Bengali. I'll read something with the purport as well, because of time is pressing. So, prior to this text, he tried to leave home. His parents are considered he's a bit of a madman. He doesn't want to take his position as a very wealthy, Zamindar family, you know. He's trying to leave, and he leaves, and he's brought back, and we've gone in. So in this way, Raghunath Das Goswami passed a year exactly, like a first-class business manager, managing for his father's business. But the next year, he again decided to leave home. He got up alone at one night and left, but his father caught him in a distant place and brought him back. This became an almost daily affair. He just wanted to go, you know, and it just... and it's quite an amusing leela. It's a leela between pure devotees, actually, because both his parents are pure devotees, but it's to demonstrate for us the desire that you have to leave that material connection with the material world and surrender to the Lord. This is what it's indicating to us. Raghunath would run away from home and his father would bring him back. Then Raghunath Das's mother began speaking to his father. "Our son has become mad," she said. "Just keep him, binding him with ropes." His father, being very unhappy, replied to her as follows: "Raghunath Das, our son, has opulences like Indra, the heavenly king, and his wife is as beautiful as an angel. Yet all this could not tie down his mind. How then could we keep this boy at home by binding him with ropes? Impossible," he's thinking. "It is not possible even for one's father to nullify the reactions of one's past activities." Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has fully bestowed his mercy upon him. Who can keep such a madman, keep home such a madman of Chaitanya Chandra? Then Raghunath Das considered something in his mind, and the next day he went to Nityananda Gosai. In the village of Panihati, Raghunath Das obtained an interview with Nityananda Prabhu, who was accompanied by many kirtan servants and others. Sitting on a rock under a tree on the bank of the Ganges, Lord Nityananda seemed as effulgent as hundreds and thousands of rising suns. Many devotees sat on the ground surrounding him. Seeing the influence of Nityananda Prabhu, Raghunath Das was astonished. Raghunath Das offered his obeisances by falling prostrate at a distant place. And the servant of Nityananda Prabhu pointed out, "There is Raghunath Das, offering your obeisances." Hearing this, Lord Nityananda Prabhu said, "You are a thief. Now you have come to see me. Come here, come here. Today I shall punish you." The Lord called him, but Raghunath Das did not dare go near the Lord. Then the Lord forcibly caught him and placed his lotus feet upon Raghunath Das's head. Lord Nityananda was by his nature very merciful and funny. Being merciful, he spoke to Raghunath Das as follows. You are just like a thief, for instead of coming near, you stay away at a distant place. Now that I have captured you, I shall punish you. Affectionately, musingly. He's going to punish him. This is how he's going to punish him. This is how it happens. The festival, it's really sweet. Make a festival and feed all my associates yogurt and chipped rice. Hearing this, Raghunath Das was greatly pleased. What a wonderful punishment. Raghunath Das immediately sent his own men to the village to purchase all kinds of eatables and bring them back. Raghunath Das brought chipped rice, yogurt, milk, sweetmeat, sugar, bananas and other eatables and placed them all around. As soon as they heard that a festival was going to be held, all kinds of brahmanas and other gentlemen began to arrive. Thus there were innumerable people. Seeing the crowd increasing, Raghunath Das arranged to get more eatables from other villages. He also brought 200 to 400 large round earthen pots, so this is becoming quite a festival. He has also obtained 5 or 7 large earthen pots, and in these pots a brahmana began soaking chipped rice for the satisfaction of Lord Nityananda. In one place, chipped rice was soaked in hot milk in each of the large pots. Then half the rice was mixed with yogurt, sugar and bananas. The other half was mixed with condensed milk and a special type of banana known as champa kala. Then sugar, clarified butter and camphor were added. After Nityananda Prabhu had changed his cloth for a new one and sat on a raised platform, the brahmana brought before him the 7 huge pots. On that platform, all the most important associates of Nityananda Prabhu, as well as other important men, sat down and circled around the Lord. It's Gadadhara Dasa, Raghunandan, Jagannath and his fellow parishads are there. Oh yes, it says here, I'm jumping the gun. Among them were Ramdasa, Sundarananda, Gadadhara Dasa, Murari, Kamalakara, Shadashiva, and Purandara. Dhananjaya, Jagadisha, Parmeshwara Das, Mahesh, Gauri Das, Hare Krishna Das was also there. Similarly, Udaran Datta Thakur and many other personal associates of the Lord sat on the raised platform with Nityananda Prabhu. No one could count them all. So many were there. So, hearing about the festival, all kinds of learned scholars, brahmanas and priests went there. Lord Nityananda Prabhu honoured them and made them sit on the raised platform with him. Everyone was offered 2 earthen pots. In one was put chipped rice and condensed milk and other chipped rice with yogurt. I should mention here, because it's just come to me to mention it really, is that in order to, it is possible for a most fallen soul, somehow, to come out of the degraded lifestyle in Kali Yuga and to achieve the highest. This is the prospect that's held for us. But it's showing here, actually, the Lord Nityananda's parishads are there, that you can only do it through Lord Nityananda. Yeah, you can only gain this mercy. You have to gain his mercy also to actually progress in spiritual life. You have to hold him there. You have to take his shelter there. I mean, once when Srila Maharaj was feeling some bereft in his own spiritual life, he went to Nityananda's birthplace, Virachandrapur, known as Ekachakra. And while there, he heard something came in his heart, and he revealed this. He wanted to mercy Lord Nityananda, and Lord Nityananda said to him, "You want my mercy, but you won't give your mercy to others. by which he meant that he didn't want to engage Westerners in his mot. And in initial stages of Krishna consciousness being spread in the West, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada would always come to visit Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and that's where he used to stay before he established Mayapur and all these other places that he established in his glorious pastimes. And he would come there, and only a few Westerners would come with him, and they would leave, but then a few Westerners would stay. So then he went to Ekachakra, and this is what he said. Then he was more open to it. And to be known, everyone was offered to earthen pots. So that's the significance of Lord Nityananda in aiding and helping our spiritual journey. Everyone was offered to earthen pots, and one was put chipped rice with condensed milk, and the other chipped rice with yogurt. All the people sat in groups around the platform. No one could count how many people were there. Each and every one of them was supplied 2 earthen pots, one chipped rice soaked in yogurt, and the other of chipped rice soaked in condensed milk. Some of the Brahmanas, not having gotten a place on the platform, went to the bank of the Ganges with their 2 earthen pots and soaked their chipped rice there. Others, who could not get a place even on the bank of the Ganges, got down into the water and began eating with their 2 hands chipped rice. So you can imagine where this is happening. There must be hundreds of thousands of people here by this time. This festival. This is a very significant, festival. Some sat on the platform, some at the base of the platform, and some on the bank of the Ganges. They were all supplied 2 pots each by the 20 men who distributed the food. At that time, Raghava Pandit arrived there. Seeing the situation, he began to laugh in great surprise. He brought many other kinds of foods cooked in ghee and offered to the Lord. This prasad he first placed before Lord Nityananda and then distributed among the devotees. Raghava Pandit said to Lord Nityananda, "For you, sir, I have already offered food to the deity, but you are engaged in a festival here, so the food is lying there untouched." Lord Nityananda replied, "Let me eat all this food here during the day, and I shall eat at your home at night." I belong to a community of cowherd boys, and therefore I generally have many cowherd associates with me. I am happy when we eat together in a picnic like this by the sandy bank of the river. It's referring to the fact that he's Lord Balaram, of course. Lord Nityananda made Raghava Pandit sit down and had 2 pots delivered to him also. There were 2 kinds of chipped rice soaked in them. When chipped rice had been served to everyone, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, in meditation, brought Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived, Lord Nityananda stood up. They then saw how the others were enjoying the chipped rice with yogurt and condensed milk. From each and every pot, Lord Nityananda took 1 morsel of chipped rice and pushed it into the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a joke. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, also smiling, took a morsel of food and pushed it into the mouth of Lord Nityananda and laughed as he made Lord Nityananda eat it. In this way, Lord Nityananda was walking through all the groups of eaters, and all the Vaishnavas standing there were seeing the fun. This is loving, fun way of taking the Lord's mercy, prasada. What a joyous experience. You can only see that in prasada when it's offered to the Lord, that infused, powerful energy is there. But do we actually really feel it? Or are we just thinking, oh, we're just eating because we're hungry? What do we eat? Well, they're eating for the Lord. No one could understand what Nityananda was doing as he walked about. Some, however, who were very fortunate could see that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also present. Then Nityananda Prabhu smiled and sat down. On his right side, he kept 4 pots of chipped rice that had not been made from boiled paddy. Lord Nityananda offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a place and had him sit down. Then together the 2 brothers began eating chipped rice. Seeing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eating with him, Lord Nityananda Prabhu became very happy and exhibited varieties of ecstatic love. Lord Nityananda Prabhu ordered, "All of you eat, chanting the holy name of Hari." Immediately, the holy names Hari, Hari surrounded, filling the entire universe. So they're chanting while eating. It's said in the Shastras, that in between taking mouthfuls of prasadam, you should chant Hare Krishna. It's 24 hours engagement, non-stop engagement. Not that we chant our rounds, but we can go along the road chanting. If we don't have enough japamala in mind, or chanting the Pancha Tattva, to remind ourselves how much does our mind wander from thinking about Krishna and then thinking about mundane things, or distracted by the environment. You have to consider this. Consider these things. When all the Vaishnavas were chanting the holy names Hari Hari and eating, they remembered how Krishna and Balaram ate with their companions, the cowherd boys, on the bank of the Jamuna. So this Chaitanya Nitya Leela is reminding them of the Leela. There's a similar festival that happened with Krishna and Balaram on the banks of the Jamuna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu are extremely merciful and liberal. And we know how liberal they are because they liberally distribute in love of God, so liberally and unconditionally, the fallen souls. It was Raghunath Das' good fortune that they accepted all these dealings. We can understand the influence and mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. He is so powerful that he induced Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come and eat chip rice at the bank of the Ganges. The Supreme Lord is coming. All the confidential devotees who were cowherd boys, headed by Sri Ramdas, were absorbed in ecstatic love. They thought the bank of the Ganges to be the bank of the Jamuna. I would say one thing here that it may be said later on, but I will say that the foremost associate of, and this is another key to the kind of mercy of Lord Nityananda, how he distributed, was that Gadadhara Dasa was an associate of both Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, and so was Raghunandan. They were the head servitors of this group, confidential servitors. And it's said about Gadadhara Dasa that he was, as the luster of Radharani combined with that of the cowherd boys, combined both. Okay? And he is the one who actually got the Chankazi to chant Hare Krishna. Okay? When the shopkeepers of many other villages heard about the festival, they arrived there to sell chip rice, yogurt, sweetmeats and bananas. As they came, bringing all kinds of food, Raghunath Das purchased it all. He gave them the price of their goods and later fed them the very same food. Anyone who came to see these funny things were going on was also fed chip rice, yogurt and bananas. Just anyone who came to see it. They probably don't know. It's indicating here that they probably don't know what it's really about. And yet they're getting that mercy. Because everybody will have their conception. Just as they have conceptions, somebody thinks that, Nanda Maharaj thinks that Krishna's my son, or somebody thinks he's his friend, or whatever. Like this, they have different angles of vision. And there were people there who were completely fallen. They just thought, I'm going to get fed today. I'm very lucky. That's how random the mercy was from Nityananda. After Lord Nityananda Prabhu finished eating, he washed his hands and mouth and gave Raghunath Das the food remaining in the 4 pots. There was food remaining in the 3 other big pots of Lord Nityananda, and a Brahmana distributed to all the devotees, giving a morsel to each. Then a Brahmana brought a flower garland and placed the garland on Nityananda Prabhu's neck and smeared sandalwood pulp all over his body. When a servant brought betel nuts and offered them to Lord Nityananda, The Lord smiled and chewed them. With his own hands, Lord Nityananda Prabhu distributed to all the devotees whatever flower garlands, sandalwood pulp, and betel nuts remained. After receiving the remembrance of food left by Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Raghunath Das, who was greatly happy, ate some and distributed the rest among his own devotees, his own associates. Thus I have described the pastimes of Lord Nityananda Prabhu in relation to the celebrated festival of chipped rice and yogurt. So, that's the festival described. But then we go on further about the association of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu and Raghunath Das Goswami. Nityananda Prabhu rested for the day, and when the day ended, he went to the temple of Raghava Pandit and began congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Lord Nityananda Prabhu first influenced all the devotees to dance, and finally himself began dancing, thus inundating the entire world in ecstatic love. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was observing the dancing of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu could see this, but the others could not. The dancing of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, like the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, cannot be compared to anything within these three worlds. No one can properly describe the sweetness of Lord Nityananda's dancing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally comes to see it, because his dancing, by seeing him dance in this ecstatic way, has a vibration. The spiritual energy is activating in devotees their inner, hidden Krishna consciousness, which is there, it's natural in us. We are sparks of the whole, so we're naturally imbibed with that ecstatic energy, but we just cover it with ego and it has to come off. But Nityananda's dancing can actually bring that out directly infusing people with that energy, activating it. After the dancing and after Lord Nityananda had rested, Raghava Pandit submitted his request that the Lord take supper. Lord Nityananda Prabhu sat down for supper with his personal associates and made a sitting place on his right side for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there and sat down at his place. Seeing this, Raghava Pandit felt increasing happiness. Raghava Pandit brought prasad before the two brothers and thereafter distributed prasad to all the other Vaishnavas. So this is some festivals ago, this day. There were varieties of cakes, sweet rice and fine cooked rice surpassed the taste of nectar. There were also varieties of vegetables. The food prepared and offered to the deity by Raghava Pandit was like the essence of nectar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there again and again to eat such prasad. When Raghava Pandit offered the food to the deity after cooking, he would make a separate offering for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Every day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would eat at the house of Raghava Pandit. Sometimes he would give Raghava Pandit the opportunity to see him. Raghava Pandit would bring and distribute prasad to the two brothers, feeding them with great attention. They ate everything, and therefore there were no remnants left. Srimati Radharani received from Durvasa Muni the benediction of whatever she cooked would be sweeter than nectar. That is a special feature of her cooking. Aromatic and pleasing to see, the food was the essence of all sweetness. Thus the two brothers, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu, ate it with great satisfaction. All the devotees present requested Raghunath Das to sit down and take prasad. But Raghava Pandit told them he would take prasad later. All the devotees took prasad, filling themselves to the brim. Thereafter, chanting the holy name of Hari, they stood up and washed their hands and mouths. After eating, the two brothers washed their hands and mouths. Then Raghava Pandit brought flower garlands and sandalwood pulp and decorated them. Raghava Pandit offered them betel nuts and worshipped their lotus feet. He also distributed betel nuts, flower garlands and sandalwood pulp to the devotees. Raghava Pandit, being very merciful toward Raghunath Das, offered him the dishes, the remnants of the food left by the two brothers. He said, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has eaten this food. If you take his remnants, you will be released from the bondage of your family. The Supreme Personality of Godhead always resides either in the heart or in the home of a devotee. This fact is sometimes hidden and sometimes manifest, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is fully independent. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is all-pervasive, and therefore he resides everywhere. Anyone who doubts this will be annihilated. Ouch. Well, I don't doubt it, for sure. I just hope that by some miracle, 1,000 lifetimes from now, maybe longer, whatever is going to happen, something will happen. So we can pray for their service, actually, to be engaged. In the morning, after taking his bath in the Ganges, Nityananda Prabhu sat down with his associates beneath the same tree under which he had previously sat. Raghunath Das went there and worshipped with Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. Through Raghava Pandit, he submitted his desire. I am the lowest of men, the most sinful, fallen and condemned. Nevertheless, I desire to attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like a dwarf who wants to catch the moon, I've tried my best many times, but I have never been successful. Every time I tried to go away and give up my home relationships, my father and mother unfortunately kept me bound. No one can attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without your mercy. But if you are merciful, even the lowest of men can attain shelter at his lotus feet. Although I am unfit and greatly afraid to submit this plea, I nevertheless request you, sir, to be especially merciful toward me by granting me shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Placing your feet on my head, give me the benediction that I may achieve the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without difficulty. I pray for this benediction. After hearing this appeal by Raghunath Das, Lord Nityananda Prabhu smiled and told the devotees, Raghunath Das' standard of material happiness is equal to that of Indra, the king of heaven. Because he lived in such, hey Balaramji, Hare Krishna, Balaram. He's going to run off now, he's a bit shy. But when the kirtan starts, he'll be here. He'll have you jumping and dancing, don't you worry. Because of the mercy bestowed upon him by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das, although situated in material happiness, does not like it at all. Therefore let every one of you be merciful toward him and give him the benediction that he may very soon attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One who experiences the fragrance of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna does not even value the standard of happiness available in Brahmaloka, the topmost planet, and what to speak of heavenly happiness. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is offered sublime poetic prayers by those trying to attain his favour. Thus he is known as Uttama Shloka. Being very eager to gain the association of Lord Krishna, King Bharat, although in the prime of youth, gave up his very attractive wife, affectionate children, most beloved friends and opulent kingdom, exactly as one gives up stool after excreting it. So this is again his Raghunath Das, he's leaving a very opulent, wealthy style. And at that time, if we go to Bengal today or Bihar or Orissa. We see it as very poor and very downtrodden. But at that time, at this time, those three provinces were the richest and most opulent on the entire planet. People don't understand this. This is a fact. So opulent, it was just unbelievable. You couldn't even conceive of it. Nothing like what we've got today, actually. So opulent. And, you know, he's giving all that great wealth up. If we can transfer that to what today is, it's the equivalent of somebody like, perhaps, the son of one of the wealthiest people in the world who's got everything. You know, he lives in a most opulent mansion. He said, I want all this. I've got my big yacht, ocean-going yacht, my own. I've got, you know, so many fancy cars, 10, 15, 16 cars in my garage, and you've got everything he wants, everything materially that this world can offer today. He just says, no, I don't want to know about this. This is all meaningless. It's rubbish. I want love of God. So this is a high renunciation. He's renouncing what most people in this world strive to want to have. Or the equivalent of maybe Prince George, who's the future King of England, renouncing all these palaces and that he lived in all that lifetime, saying, no, I'm rejecting the whole thing. That's what is more than that here, actually. And I'll tell you, I reflect upon this. Near where I live in West Hampstead, where I have my flat, there's a graveyard, and many famous people are residing there. And there's one personality who resided in perhaps the most opulent palace that's been built in modern times. I mean, in the last few hundred years. And had everything, hundreds of servants, and he had many palaces all over the empire that they ruled, etc. And now this grave is there. And I can show you a photograph of it. And that grave is neglected. Nobody cares for him. He just lived and died there. And his name is the Grand Duke Mikhail Mikhailovich of Russia. And he had everything this world could offer, practically. And there's his grave, and it's completely neglected. Nobody puts any flowers into it. Nothing happens. Dust. It means nothing. All of what he experienced, all what he had, is dust, is rubbish. It reminds me. It's a wonderful thing to actually say that, because it makes you not want to try for that kind of stuff. Extraordinary. Then Lord Nityananda Prabhu called Raghunath Das near him, placed his lotus feet upon Raghunath Das's head, and began to speak. My dear Raghunath Das, he said, since you arranged the feast on the bank of the Ganges, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here just to show his mercy. By his causeless mercy, he ate the chipped rice and milk. Then after seeing the dancing of the devotees at night, he took his supper. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaura Hari, came here personally to deliver you. Now rest assured that all the impediments meant for your bondage are gone. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will accept you and place you under the charge of his secretary, Swarup Damodar. You will thus become one of the most confidential internal servants, will attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why he's also known as Raghunath Das Swarup, actually. There's the three, to have that, the 3.5 confidential servitors of Mahaprabhu are, if I hope I can remember that, and I usually do, but that's Ramananda Roy, Swarup Dama Sikhi Mahiti, and the half associate, 3.5 associates actually, which is Madhavi, who's the sister of Sikhi Mahiti. So he gets that. So he must be a special soul anyway, in Swarup in the spiritual world. But it's demonstrating something for us. Being assured of all this, return to your home. Very soon, without impediments, you will attain the shelter of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Nityananda and Raghunath Das blessed all the devotees, and Raghunath Das offered his respects to their lotus feet. After taking leave of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, then all the other Vaishnavas Sri Raghunath Das consulted secretly with Raghava Pandit. After consulting with Raghava Pandit, he secretly delivered 100 gold coins and 7 tolas of gold to the hand of Nityananda Prabhu's treasurer. Raghunath Das admonished the treasurer, "Do not speak about this to Lord Nityananda Prabhu now. When he returns home, kindly inform him about this presentation." That is a vast amount of wealth that he gave. Thereupon Raghava Pandit took Raghunath Das to his home. After inducing him to see the deity, he gave Raghunath Das a garland and sandalwood pulp. He gave Raghunath Das a large quantity of prasad to eat on his way home. Then Raghunath Das again spoke to Raghava Pandit. "I want to give money," he said, "just to worship the lotus feet of all the great devotees, servants and subservients of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. As you think fit, give 20, 15, 12, 10 or 5 coins to each of them." I mean gold coins. Raghunath Das drew up an account of the amount to be given and submitted it to Raghava Pandit, who then made up a list showing how much money was paid to each and every devotee. With great humility, Raghunath Das placed 100 gold coins and about 2 tolas of gold before Raghava Pandit for all the other devotees. After taking dust from the feet of Raghava Pandit, Raghunath Das returned to his home, feeling greatly obligated to Lord Nityananda Prabhu because of having received his merciful benediction. From that day on, he did not go into the interior section of the house. Instead, he would sleep in the Durga Mandapa, the place where Mother Durga was worshipped. There, however, the watchmen alertly kept guard. Raghunath Das was thinking of various means by which to escape their vigilance. At that time, all the devotees of Bengal were going to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raghunath Das could not accompany them, for they were so famous that he would immediately have been caught. Thus Raghunath Das thought deeply about how to escape. And one night, while he was sleeping on the Durga Mandapa, the priest Yadunanda Acharya entered the house when only 4 dandas remained until the end of the night. Yadunanda Acharya was the priest and spiritual master of Raghunath Das. Although born in a Brahmin family, he had accepted the mercy of Vasudev Datta. We've got time to read this. We'll be nearing the end shortly. Let me just check. It's quite long. What time is Aarti?
I think it's after the offering.
The offering's on now, okay, so we've got time. I know that, but roughly what time will it be?
Probably around latest 2.
Okay. Yadunanda Acharya had been officially initiated by Advaita Acharya. Thus he considered Lord Chaitanya his life and soul. When Yadunanda Acharya ended with... Now, so it's now, okay. We'll have to conclude shortly. But when Yadunanda Acharya entered the house of Raghunath Das and stood in the courtyard, Raghunath Das went there and fell down to offer his obeisances. One of Yadunanda Acharya's disciples had been worshipping the deity but had left that service. Yadunanda Acharya wanted Raghunath Das to induce the disciple to take up that service again. Yadunanda Acharya requested Raghunath Das, please induce the Brahmana to resume the service, for there is no other Brahmana to do it. After this, Yadunanda Acharya took Raghunath Das with him and went out. By that time all the watchmen were deeply asleep because it was the end of the night. So this is how he escaped. East of the house of Raghunath Das was the house of Yadunanda Acharya. Yadunanda Acharya and Raghunath Das talked together as they went to that house. Halfway along the path, Raghunath Das submitted at the lotus feet of his spiritual master, I shall go to the home of that Brahmana, induce him to return and send him into your home. You may go home without anxiety. Following your order, I shall persuade that Brahmana. On this plea, for asking permission, he decided to go away. Raghunath Das thought, this is the greatest opportunity to go away, because this time there are no servants or watchmen with me. Thinking this way, he quickly proceeded toward the east. Sometimes he turned round and looked back, but no one was following him. Thinking of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, he left the general path and proceeded with great haste on the one not generally used. Giving up the general path from village to village, he passed through the jungles, thinking with heart and soul the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He walked about 30 miles in one day, and in the evening he took rest in the cowshed of a milkman. When the milkman saw that Raghunath Das was fasting, he gave him some milk. Raghunath Das drank the milk and lay down to the rest of the night. We're going to have to start arting us, but this eventually goes through many things, and he meets the devotees of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, and he escapes. So it's a wonderful story, wonderful Leela, pastimes. Jai Raghunath Das, Swami Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Panihati Festival ki Jai. So it's wonderful to read that today. Hare Krishna. Does anybody make any comments or any questions? No? Wonderful. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Jai. Puffing and blowing boy. On the front. Just more over to one back.
I just